You're dialed in to the Dog Pound Podcast, your weekly shot of Cleveland Browns recaps, reactions, and rants with your hosts, John Drake and Chris Aiken.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to episode 6 of the Dog Pound Podcast. I am your host, John Drake. With me is my co-host, Chris Aiken. How's it going, man? Do I need to ask?
Well, it's going better now that the game is over. I'll put it that way. You know, it was tough to watch.
You couldn't have called it any better last week when you said that Baker, and the team needed that, come back to earth moment. And boy, did they get it. Holy crap.
They didn't come back to earth. They went back to last year.
Yeah, they did. That was a time machine game.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, my God.
Just awful.
Yeah, we went to the game, and Steph actually sold her ticket to my buddy Jason, who plays guitar in my band.
So she officially is the smartest person of all of us right now for not going.
Oh, my God, did she pick a game to not go to? And it was, oh, my God. It was just unwatchable. I mean, he had a 2.5-hour drive home, so halfway through the third quarter, after I think it got to 28-6,
mm-hmm.
he goes, I'm ready to go home. I'm like, I'm not going to fight you. And you want to know what's something crazy about that? We're walking out of the stadium. Almost no one was leaving yet.
Well, that's good.
People were actually staying. I was like, well, that's kind of cool. And it also was awesome for us because we had no problems getting out of town. So it was, but I mean, they just, you're down, what was it, 21-6 at half.
Yeah.
And they come out, and Peppers messes up the kick return right off the bat. The punt return after the defense gets the ball back.
Right.
And then Baker throws a pick immediately, and they bring it down inside the 10, and it's just like, it's going to be one of those days.
Right.
So, yeah, it really was. It was like last year. And I had this feeling it wasn't our day because those two long touchdown passes that weren't caught, I mean, that was just – we're watching the replays, and we're like, what the hell? I mean, Baker put this the second one was you could say it was a little high, but it hit him right in the damn hands.
Right.
And the one to Callaway went between his hands. It's like, catch the friggin' ball. I mean, what is going on with these guys catching the ball? I mean, it's just asinine. And then after the game, you hear the players going, well, we didn't have the energy. Just coming out of the tunnel, we just didn't have the energy today. So basically what you have is a bunch of dickheads that bought into their own press after 5 games of a season when you've been 1-31. Yeah. You won 4 games in the last 3 years, and you come out after 5 weeks with a 2-2-1 record like you won something?
Yeah.
Up yours.
It was bad. It was I could almost tell, and it's funny the players did say that today because you really could tell from the opening moments. I mean, it showed itself right from the beginning of the game that the Chargers were pumped and the Browns were not.
Yeah.
And I don't have anything good to say at all this week. I can't think of one element of the game that went well. Can you?
No. I mean, David Njoku had some catches. I mean, he wasn't as bad, but
he did okay. But I blame you personally for Baker.
Yeah, my awesome Baker Mania headbands were a total flop. My buddy Jason, he wore my other one because they're like 2 for $20, so there's an orange one and a brown one, so I wore the orange one, and. Man, it was like halfway through the second quarter. He goes, this damn thing ain't working, and took it off and handed it back to me.
Oh, why don't you put on a Big Ben Mania for like 2 weeks from now? Why don't you get one of those for that?
I know, yeah. I should. Just have one for each quarterback we're playing, like next week, a Jameis Mania or something.
Exactly. Well, all I got to do with Jameis is find a crime that you can allow him to commit, and then
right,
and then he won't even play.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know. It was just, I mean, they just really got smacked in the mouth. And where I see, okay, I mean, you played competitive sports, dude, and sure. I have too. And I think you and I are probably similar in this, that because you and I just hate losing so much. Yeah. That I don't know about you, but even, it would sound on a professional level, but when, I would play a team that I knew was garbage, I didn't take off. and be like, oh, I got this. It's like, no, I played a lot of soccer as a kid growing up. And so it's like, okay, well, these guys suck. So it's not like I'm just going to like dog it and we'll win 1-0. No, I mean, if I have to win 15-0 and embarrass them, I don't give a damn. I want to win the game. Yeah. I'm not coming out there with this attitude of, I'm going to take off and, I'm, buying into the hype. No, man, go beat the crap out of people.
Dude, for me, it was baseball, and I was dick enough I would definitely almost demand my team, if we were better, to be up 15-1 or 14-3 or whatever, and then I would rub it in even more by turning around and batting right-handed or something, just to be that much more of an asshole, just to let them know that I had no respect for them.
Yeah,
and I'll be honest, that's exactly what the Chargers did yesterday.
Well, you heard, Phillip Rivers was, after like the first drive, was Jon at Greg Williams, and it worked because that dummy then dialed up a blitz like most of the rest of the game and left everybody in single coverage, and he ate us alive.
Well,
like, what are you doing? Like, let go of the ego, you jerk. How about you play some actual defense? The guy is passing for 70% completion percentage right now with 13 touchdowns and 2 picks, and you're going to give him wide open receivers all day? Where is your head at?
How about this, Williams? And I definitely had a problem with Greg Williams yesterday. On the 17th or 18th time that they ran a sweep, how about you guard against the sweep? How many times did we see that same play over and over, and not once did we stop it?
Well, they ran the exact same play twice.
Yeah.
They did that rollout or whatever the heck it was, like 2 plays for 89 yards, and it was the same damn play.
Yeah.
And you know what I heard this morning, and I haven't looked up to verify it, but I can't assume why it's not true. And it sure seems like a hell of a lot more than this. Do you know how many passes Rivers completed yesterday?
No idea.
11.
Really?
Yes. And at one point in the third quarter, they had 28 points and had run 29 offensive plays. They were averaging almost a point per play.
Yeah, it was brutal, man. That drive that you're talking about too, where they were on like the 10-yard line or something. It was like, okay, 49 yards and then 43 to the end zone or whatever it was. I was like, Jesus. Can anybody play today at all?
Well,
anybody?
And the Browns had just gotten some momentum because they drove a little bit and, they got some field position back. I mean, honestly, they didn't have a field position problem yesterday. They had 2 drives in a row that started on like the San Diego 39 and the 36, and they got 1 frigging field goal.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell is that?
And to be honest, that was kind of an iffy field goal too. That Joseph is not instilling much confidence, is he?
No, but I mean, at least they're going through.
Yeah, well, I guess you'll take that, but
I mean, dude, I texted you the picture yesterday of the half. These are the stats at halftime.
Yeah.
So, okay, the Chargers at the half, the Browns had 212 yards of offense. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
The Chargers had 257. Okay, that's not good that we would give that up.
Right.
We got ours on 46 plays. They got theirs on 24.
Right.
We were averaging 4.6 yards per play. They were averaging 10.7. They were averaging a first down every play.
Yeah.
We had no sacks. They had 4. We were down 21-6. We had the ball out of 30 minutes, 20 minutes and 6 seconds. They were 9 minutes and 54 seconds.
Yeah, so we had
that is getting housed.
Yeah, we got just beaten up quickly. They just
yeah. And I mean, like the math that I just gave you, where they had 28 points on 29 plays.
Yeah.
So basically, what they did is their next drive they scored because they went 3 and out to open the second half. Mm-hmm. So there's 27 plays, and the next drive was the 2 plays for 89 yards.
Yeah. Yeah, it was brutal.
That's ridiculous.
Dude. No one showed up, and I mean, no one showed up.
Well, they quit.
The offense didn't show. I didn't think that they ever showed up. I don't think if they quit before the start of the game because who did you see out there other than Njoku? And I was going to actually say nice things about Njoku this week. He had 6 or 7 catches. He looked pretty good. He caught the damn ball when it was thrown to him. He actually played pretty well. No one else.
Duke.
I can't.
Duke Johnson.
Yeah,
Duke
played
Johnson.
okay. Duke played okay. Thankfully, they're getting him the ball now, but
I mean, they have to. Every friggin' receiver they have is injured.
Yeah, well, and that's a whole nother thing. And I know you don't want to hear this. Hugh has got to go, dude. How do you, and I texted you this, and I know you don't have an argument any more than when I texted it to you. You have 4 healthy receivers. 4. Basically, in any offensive play, how many receivers do you have on that field? 3.
At least 2.
At least 2, more likely 3. You got 1 on each end, and you got a slot on just about every play, right? So if you've got 3 receivers on the field, you only have 1 extra. Why in the hell would you put your receiver out there as a gunner on special teams when you don't have anybody behind him? What kind of stupid play calling is that? And I don't know if that's Amos Jones. It probably is. But Hugh let it happen. And sure as shit, Rod Streeter, not the greatest player in the world, but still our 4th receiver at this point.
He's a warm body at receiver, at least.
Yeah, well, not anymore. Now he's a dead body at receiver because he's got a broken neck and he's done for the year. But he was out after, 3 minutes of the game?
Yeah.
He broke his neck 3 minutes into the game. So we had all the rest of the game with bare minimum receivers. And now we're turning into the old Browns of, throwing anybody out there out of position to play. And I mean, I'm sure they do practice Duke somewhat as a receiver, but
they actually do that a lot. So I mean, that's great and all, but I mean, to your point, they're playing these guys, these like 6th round picks, these undrafted. I mean, there's a reason they're like that, because they can't get open.
Yeah.
And then you combine that with Baker, who, I love him. I'm a huge Baker fan, but my God, is he holding onto the ball too long? He was really indecisive. Yeah. And if these guys aren't getting open to give him something to throw to, I mean, it was a recipe for disaster that just came to fruition.
Well, the good quarterbacks, and I'm not shitting on Baker, but the good quarterbacks throw to a spot. They don't wait for the receiver. They throw to a spot, and it's up to the receiver to get there.
You should have seen, to your point, you should have seen Rivers throwing those touchdown passes.
Yeah.
I mean, it looked like when he threw it up, I mean, he's Phillip Rivers, so there's a reason he's putting that where he put it. But when he threw these balls, it looked like it was like 25 yards away from the receiver.
Yeah.
And this guy just ran right under it, doink right. I'm like, oh my God. I mean, I hate that we lost, but that dude was so impressive. Oh. And that's what sucked even more about those 2 touchdown passes that we dropped, because Baker did that.
Yeah.
Baker did it too. He threw the first one to Callaway. I'm like, where the hell is he throwing it? And then it goes right through. I'm like, oh my God, that's like a perfect ball. And Callaway just, that guy, that guy is pissing me off.
Callaway?
I don't like receivers in general. There's such a bunch of damn divas.
Right.
And it's just like, screw you with your stupid, like Odell Beckham Jr. with his dumb fur coats and his 18,000 cars. Like, up your ass. Go play football. I hate punk-ass divas like that. And receivers are all punk-ass divas. Screw you.
I know. What do you think of the constant barrage of people saying that we should trade for Odell Beckham?
No.
I don't want him.
That's kind of like trading for Khalil Mack, which would he make us instantly better? Oh yeah, and that's great. But the problem is the price tag is too high. We are not a team that's like one player away. That's something that the Patriots do, or the Rams do, or the Chiefs. It's like you put a guy like that on a team that's already good, and all of a sudden you're the favorites for the Super Bowl. The Browns need these draft picks because we're a young team. We still have holes, and we finally have a guy that knows what to do with them. So now that you actually have someone that can draft properly, you don't just piss away draft picks. Man, I am pissed. You can tell.
Well, man, maybe Dorsey can start looking for coaches that'll know what to do, because Hugh stinks. Hugh is terrible.
Every one of the coaches yesterday is culpable because, I mean, Haley, what in God's name on that, like, 2nd and goal or whatever, he's like the drop back and then the fake handoff and then the shovel forward.
Yeah.
What the hell was that?
Then on
4th and 2, he's throwing the ball.
Yeah.
Give it to Carlos Hyde.
Yeah, Hyde, who had been producing all game long.
Yeah.
Why give it to him? Let's just throw it.
It's
throw it
like
when Baker's like 13 of 40 or whatever. Good idea.
I mean, play old school smash mouth football, you dummy.
Yeah.
I like Todd Haley, but every once in a while, yesterday just seemed like an ego game by everybody.
Everybody, dude. Jarvis Landry, where's he?
Yeah.
Where was he?
And he was pouting on the sideline. Apparently his body language was bad, and then he wouldn't talk to the media after the game. He just showered and left. And it's like, well, you know what? You're dropping balls too.
Yeah.
He has you know what his previous low catch percentage was in his career, his first 4 years. You know what his lowest percentage of catches was?
No idea.
66%. You know what it is this year?
Probably a lot lower than that.
52.
Yeah.
He's 14% lower than his career average.
Yeah, well, but a part of it is he thinks he's the bomb. That one catch, and I don't know if you saw it or not, but there was one, and it was just an out route or something, and he just went up with one hand and didn't catch it. And it was like, even the announcers, and I hate announcers, but the announcers were right. We're like, oh, he went to catch it with one hand. He probably should have put the other hand up and caught it, because it was a simple pass. It was not something, it was not one of those where he's like diving with one hand or something.
Yeah.
He just was showboating, and he just stuck one hand up, and it went right off his one hand. It's like, dude, put both hands up and catch the ball, especially when you're the guy that all these other guys that should be, bagging groceries, are looking up to. You got Rod Streeter out there. You got, what was his name, Ratley?
Yeah.
Where's
Who
that?
actually was good.
He was okay. He missed a couple too.
Yeah, but he caught like 6 of 8.
Yeah, I get
At
that.
least
He was
at least
okay.
he showed up.
Yeah, he showed up. He wanted to play again. He knew that was his one chance, because otherwise he's the 5th or 6th guy on this team. He knew that. I mean, he was the 4th guy, wasn't he? Wasn't yesterday was Landry? It was what? Landry, Streeter, Callaway, and Ratley.
Landry, Callaway.
Yeah.
Actually, Ratley might have been number 3, because I think Streeter was
4.
I think Streeter was 4.
Okay, but that
because Ratley was taking the place of Willies, who was taking the place of Hollywood Higgins.
Right. Jesus Christ.
Could you ever believe we'd be saying that we're missing Hollywood Higgins?
Dude.
And I mean, it's not a rip saying that he sucks, but I mean, before this season, it's like, okay, the guy's done nothing, but now he actually looks like a viable player for us.
Dude,
and he goes down. It's like, damn it,
I'm going to say this is going to make you crazy, but I don't care. This is honestly, I honestly think this is the Cleveland curse, just giving us that last little nudge about Josh Gordon.
Well,
we got rid of Gordon, and instantly everybody is hurt or can't catch the ball.
Right. But in New England, apparently Gordon dogged it on an easy 4th down conversion or something, and Brady apparently gave him the stare down that was just like, yeah, good luck getting the ball for me ever again, you jerk.
Yeah, well, he stinks.
Yeah,
I mean,
screw him.
he's not going to get the big contract that, in a way, I almost wish we would have kept him, because we could have probably got more production out of him and still wouldn't have had to pay him a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's
him.
done. He's toast.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. So I mean, like Ratley, he showed up, Duke showed up, and Njoku showed up, Myles Garrett showed up, even though he was getting double teamed like crazy, but he was fighting, and can we please put out an all points bulletin for Emmanuel Ogbah?
Yeah,
what the hell has that guy done?
Nah, not much.
It's like, come on, man. Miles is over there getting double teamed and still getting in the backfield. And what the heck are you doing?
Nothing.
It's supposed to be this bookend, like give me a break.
No, he'll be gone
whatever.
next year. He'll be gone next year.
Ugh. I'm so mad, dude. It's like, because I was so excited for the game, and it was like, I was excited because I'm like, okay, this is a statement game. If the Browns win, and then the NFL, you have to take them seriously, because you will have beaten a very high quality team.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like you can legitimately start saying that we're back. I think,
sure.
Because you beat a team like that. You should have beat the Saints. You should have beat the Steelers, and you beat the Ravens. So basically, when you have 5 showings like that, you're basically like, okay, well, this is for real now. And instead, they sucked up. They sucked ass. I mean, It's like, and again, Jarvis Landry not meeting with the media. Quit being a baby.
Yeah,
and Baker stood up there and took the beating, and you got to give him credit. He's like, nope, it's all on.
Yeah, no,
me.
Baker took
it's my fault.
Baker
like,
took it.
He jumps on the grenade.
Yeah, the one thing, and I don't think any of us, from listening to a little sports talk today, and even just listening to me and you talking about this right now, I don't think that we're really being fair on this one point, and it's a slight point, but it's something that we're just not even considering. And that is this. The Chargers are a pretty damn good team. They look like a pretty damn good team, man. And now, are they the best team that we've played this year? Not at all. I would say that New Orleans is probably the best team that we've played so far this year. But we're not giving them any amount of credit either. And that offense is pretty potent. I could see that offense putting up 40 against just about anybody in the league.
Yeah. Well, I mean, here's a crazy stat that not a lot of people know, but I try and read up on the teams that we're going to play, so I at least have some kind of education about what they're going to do.
Yeah.
But apparently, New Orleans, Alvin Kamara and Mark Ingram last year set the NFL record for combined yards from scrimmage for a pair of running back teammates.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And through 5 games before yesterday, Austin Eckler and Melvin Gordon for the Chargers were already ahead of their pace.
Yeah,
from last year.
Well,
so they're on pace to break that record, and boy, did they add to it yesterday. 246 yards from scrimmage for those guys?
And they showed a stat at the beginning of the game. Those guys are so far and away out ahead of any other duo in the NFL. Like I forget who number 2 was, but the difference was like 300 yards difference.
Damn.
I mean, it was like 1,050 to like 750.
That's insane.
It was a big difference, and boy, they really showed it. Melvin Gordon's a good player, man. He had a bad rookie year, and I think everybody thought he was going to be a bust, and he's the real deal, man.
Yeah, I mean, after his rookie year, he showed up. Yesterday wasn't really any indication because, again, watching from my vantage point in the dog pound, you can't really see it as well on TV. Those holes that he were running through, they were like 10 yards wide.
Right.
It wasn't even close. As soon as he got the handoff, everybody in the pound was like, shit.
Yep.
You just saw it. It was enormous. You could drive a pair of cars through those holes.
Yeah.
It's like, who's doing what out there?
Yeah.
And then the tackling was bad.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God. And, like I was saying, it's like it could have been a statement game. And instead, and you know what? It was a statement game.
Yeah.
That there are a bunch of assholes that need to pull their heads out of their asses and, get themselves straight mentally and understand you have not arrived yet. And even if you have, act like you've been there, like the Chargers.
Yeah. Yeah, what if the Chargers have not won anything? Really? The Chargers haven't won in it. And as long as we've been waiting, the Chargers haven't won anything, have they?
Yeah, they're always like mediocre, like the 7-9, 9-7. They've had a couple, good winning seasons.
Yeah. But they
no deep playoff runs.
But they didn't come out. If anything, they should have come out and been like, "Oh, we got to play this team. We got to play this suck team." But they came out. They came out and really brought it to us.
Yeah, but, because they looked at the tape, were like, "Okay, the Browns actually can play, so we got to take this seriously."
Yeah.
And the Browns just were like, screw it, we're good.
Yeah,
we can do this. And boy, did they get punched in the damn mouth,
And what the Chargers showed, and I hope the Browns learned from it, was when the Browns were down big, they stepped on their throat again. When they were down 21, was it 21-6 at one point?
Yeah, at half.
And then Chargers came right out and put another one up. It was like, bang, do it again. Take any hope off of them. And they did. And they took any hope that first or the second drive, whatever it was, when they scored in the third quarter.
Yeah.
The game ended. The game was over at that point. You could look at it on the bench. You could look at it on the field. The game ended with that two passes, 90 yards and a touchdown. It was over. The Chargers basically said, if you try to do anything, we're just going to score on you again.
Yeah.
And they did. And the Browns quit.
Yeah, it was bad. It's I'm just so pissed. It's like, where do they get off having an attitude like this?
Well, they're young.
And it's just,
That's
I know,
what it is.
and
They're
it's
young.
just, I'm buying in. I'm buying into it too, that they're better. And I'm so tired of sucking that I don't want to see this crap anymore. I've already sat through this crap, And Jarvis Landry, love him, but God damn it, this is the perfect time for you to eat crow. And if you want to tell them that's contagious, bro, that's contagious. So's being a punk ass bitch and leaving the locker room. How about you man up and go, yeah, I've been dropping balls. Yeah, we got to do this. We got punked because, we should have done this. Be a man.
Yeah.
Don't be a bitch and leave the locker room. Like, don't tell me what's contagious because now you're part of the problem.
Yeah. How about
it's
this?
bad enough that Callaway's hero is a moron in Pittsburgh who's throwing couches out a window.
Yeah.
What the hell? That's this guy's role model.
Well,
this meathead Antonio Brown, and yeah, he's good, but screw that guy.
Yeah.
And he can't catch a cold,
right?
And it's like so. And now that's what you're gonna do?
Yeah. And where are these receivers? One, Landry should have said, you know what? On behalf of the receiving corps, I'm supposed to lead them, and I didn't. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab Baker or Stanton or whoever, and we're going to take an extra 500 balls this week. Each of us, not just me, each of us, because none of us played up to our potential. That's what he should say to the media. We suck today. We're going to do extra work to not suck next week. That's what he should have said. Doesn't have to be some long thing. Entertain the media. Well, how about that play? Yeah, I didn't make the play. I mean, you don't have to explain everything. Just kind of look at how Belichick handles a press conference. He doesn't answer any questions.
Right.
He does it so he doesn't get fined. That's all Landry had to do was get up there and say, look, I'm going to work with my quarterback to be better because clearly I'm not where I should be. I'm a guy that caught 125 balls last year. I've got 13 catches this year or whatever he has. And that's it. And he should be out there starting tomorrow catching an extra 50 balls an hour. And getting himself back into game shape or whatever shape he needs to be in to do it. And give the example to pieces of shit like Callaway that just I don't know what it is with that guy. That guy is open by 10 yards on almost every play and ends up with like 3 catches a game. It's like, dude, that guy should be leading the league in yardage, if nothing else, because he's always open, but he can't catch the ball.
Well, I mean, like I just said, 52% catch percentage. Yeah. So he's half of what is getting thrown to him. He's catching it. And he's supposed to be the one that's with the giant hands that can catch one-handed and all that. Mm-hmm. Like, what the hell's going on?
Well, dude, I'm going to make a comparison that you won't like, but whatever. I look at him as having 100 times the talent of that Juju Schuster guy, Smith-Schuster. And Schuster is just destroying him statistically as a number 2 to Antonio Brown.
Right.
He's just destroying. And Antonio Callaway has 3 times the talent. And he's just not producing. And I don't know why. And, the other guys, you can't even really grade the other guys. You can't, Ratley made some catches, so good, because we got more production than they probably envisioned from him for the whole season yesterday. And, Streeter, whatever, he got hurt, but at least he showed up. At least he was able to put a uniform on for 3 minutes.
And he's a professional. He's been around, so he knows, he's a journeyman. But
we got to get some receivers, though. And I don't like that. I actually am intrigued, but I don't know how to take it with the receiver that we signed right before, on Saturday.
Oh, Brashad Perryman.
Yeah, I'm intrigued.
He got cut because he can't catch.
Well, but he
picked up a guy that he's just a guy that was available with a name. He can't catch. That's why Baltimore got rid of him.
Yeah, I'm always intrigued that the number 1 picks. You could lightning in a bottle it. Is all I'm saying. I'm not saying, believe me, I'm not saying, thank God we got him. I'm saying, well, at some point he convinced people that he was worth big money instead of little money.
Well, if he's the guy that I'm thinking of, I know it's a guy with a B, and I can't remember if it was a dude that went down to that was drafted by Miami a few years ago, or if this is Brashad Perryman in Baltimore. I don't remember. So if it's this guy, I'm glad that he's here, because he got screwed coming here because when he got drafted, he was on our draft board.
Yeah.
And he got picked before we could take him. And he said he and his mom came out and made all these comments about they're so glad they didn't go to Cleveland and Cleveland sucks. It's like, well, now look where you're at, you jackass. Up yours.
See,
I don't know if that's him. It's either him or some. I think it was the guy in Miami. It might have been. Don't quote me, but I think it's him.
Yeah, see, I don't.
And if it is him, then good. Poetic justice. Now, sit on the bench, you ass. God, I am bitter and angry tonight.
Well, dude, why wouldn't you be? It was a horrendous game, man.
Oh God.
Well, good. Let's make it worse. So how about that officiating?
Dude, that false start. Everybody the defense stopped and it's like, okay, you have to finish the play. Sure. But when there's an obvious false start, the play always gets whistled dead. That guy, to the naked eye, he was way early.
Yeah,
way early. And then they just let it go. When they showed it in slow motion, it was unbelievable. He took almost 2 full steps before the ball was snapped.
Yeah.
How do you miss that? And then they come out, oh, yeah, we missed it. That's 4 weeks in a row. The damn referees have come out and said something about, oh, yeah, we blew that in the game. What is being done to fix this? You can't blame this game on the refs.
No.
Just like you couldn't blame the refs last week in Baltimore because when you have 12 penalties, at some point, part of it's your fault. But we had the Carlos Hyde call in Oakland that cost us a win.
Yeah.
And what's being done about this?
Nothing.
Sorry. Well, I'd rather hear nothing because then it just makes it worse.
Yeah. The NFL's not doing their job of holding their referees to a high standard at all.
Yeah.
Now, admittedly, they're coming to Cleveland to referee, and I almost wonder if we're getting the scrubs most weeks.
Well, and one of the things I wonder is that because the team complained about the calls and the fans have complained, if they're not purposely kind of sticking it to us a little bit. Because,
maybe, but dude,
just calling the ticky-tack stuff and that obvious false start, just kind of yeah, F you. You want to say that we're a problem? We're here. We're gonna that's their little way of pissing on us. And
let's start flipping their cars over. Let's meet them at the airport and tear up their plane tickets.
Just put a book bag next to him and just holler out, "This guy's got a bomb." Just do one of those.
Yeah, something. Let's get back at these damn officials.
Dude, I'm telling you. It's just I guess, man, I'm just so disappointed because it was so different.
Mm-hmm.
And but and it was crap. Everything was crap.
Yeah, there's nothing good to talk about. Your boy Baker was bad. Dude, it's like for the first few weeks that he's been out there, the thing that has established him as, wow, this guy could really be good at some point, has been the decisive nature of how he, throws the ball around.
Yeah.
He snaps it, he looks, he throws it. Good or bad, nobody has cared. I have not heard one person bitch about interceptions or, balls that were almost interceptions or tips or any of that stuff. No one cares because for the first time in forever and a day, we've got a decisive quarterback who's pretty accurate throwing the ball.
Yeah.
Yesterday, he looked like he was scared to death. And I honestly think he was hurt. He got hurt when he slipped on that first down marker.
What asshole laid that thing on the ground like that?
That's where they always get laid. They always do that.
I've never seen it.
They always lay those there.
The referees did that on purpose because they knew Baker was going there. They did that on purpose to try and injure Baker.
That's what
conspiracy.
It was.
It's official. It's a goddamn referee conspiracy against Cleveland. We should be 6-0.
Well, he sure didn't play well after it.
No.
After it, he just completely lost his momentum. He did. It was clear he was limping around. I'm sure you saw that in the stadium.
Oh, yeah. In the second half, he wasn't limping. Yeah. But for the rest, especially right after it happened. So.
But in the second half, he wasn't himself either.
Well, here's why. Okay. And I thought this while I was watching the game live yesterday, and I heard a few people on the radio today actually mentioning this, so it bears mentioning. I think he learned a lesson yesterday. The reason he was holding onto the ball too long is because he is so averse to checking down. He had checkdowns at like the 3 to 5 yard, like open guys at like 3 to 5 yards and passed them over going for that 15-yard strike. And it bit him in the ass. And at some point, that was the thing where it's like, they're going to look at the film and tell him like, dude, you had 5 yards right there. Quit looking for 20. If you're forcing it too much, sometimes you just take what they give you. And honestly, I think offensively, it would have been a much different game if he did that because they were open with those things.
Sure.
A lot.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but he'll get that. I mean, again,
he's a rookie. It's his fourth game?
Yeah. I hate to do my Nostradamus impression, but I really did call this last week.
You did. I mean, you didn't say it was going to be this game.
No, I just said it's going to happen at some point.
It's going to happen, and it's going to be a good thing for him. And I did not disagree.
Yeah.
I just, as I texted you during the game yesterday, I just hoped that it would come in next year's preseason.
Well, he had his bad game, and. Well, in a way, maybe it's fortunate that he had it in the same week that every player on the team had it.
Yeah, and I was that's a good point because I mean, if there is one positive that comes out of yesterday, it's the fact that they had this game, and it's only week 6, and you have 10 games left. Mm-hmm. It's not like let's say they built it up and they're like quote unquote in the hunt, and let's say it's a season where they might be able to make the playoffs somehow. And they just completely crap the bed like when it really means something.
Yeah.
And then the whole season's shot. You're like, crap. But now, I mean, you've got 10 games left. I mean, what if maybe this will be like a turning point or something. You never know. But I mean, at least there's plenty of games left for them to right the ship if they're going to try to make any kind of push. And, we're not, what are we? I mean, 2 games out of first place, which is not insurmountable. I mean, we're 1-0 we're 1-0-1 in the division,
right?
And I mean, you never know what can happen if you take care of your division games. We've already proven that we can play with Baltimore. We've proven we can play with Pittsburgh. Cincinnati, everyone is buying in. I'm sorry. I will never be sold on Andy Dalton. I will never be sold on him, and I just think he's overrated as hell, and. I just, I'm not a believer in the Bungles. So, I mean, you don't know what's going to happen. So I'm glad they got this out of the way when there's still plenty of time to actually do something going forward. Now, also to your point about Hugh Jackson, this is the first time that I think you could say they really quit on him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And if that happens a couple more games, especially in a row, he's got to go.
Yeah.
Because that was the only thing he had was the fact that he, they were talking about it on the Ken Carmen show this morning. The only leg to stand on that he really had in 1-31 was that they never quit on him. Mm-hmm. They always played for him. If he loses that, forget it.
Yeah, and you know what? Now he's got a much tougher road to go down too. With obviously we got to find some receivers. We got to do something there. But also, my God, Joe Schobert being out. Ooh,
that sucks.
That's a bad one.
And the worst part is that James Burgess plays well. He's the backup for Joe Schobert. Well, guess who else got hurt yesterday?
Did he get hurt too? I didn't see that.
Yes, he did.
Oh,
so
Jesus.
our two middle linebackers both went down yesterday.
So what are we gonna do? Move Collins to middle?
I don't know. I do not know how they're gonna handle it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess it's a good thing they didn't trade him. I read a thing last week where they were talking about potentially trading Collins. Guess it's a good thing they didn't trade him.
Yeah. I mean, he has value to somebody.
He does, but we need him. He has value to us right now.
Yeah. Yeah, right. I don't even know who the hell would be. I mean, they're going to have to move somebody, and I don't know what the depth chart looks like at linebacker because they sub in and out so much. It's going to be somebody that's already played some. But
yeah, I mean, what they're going to have to do is, I would, if I had to guess, I would say they're going to put Jamie Collins back in the middle because he played there a lot last year.
Yeah.
And, they'll put him in the middle, and they'll just stabilize him in the middle. But, now we're going to have, practice squad guys as the rotate. I mean, because you're going to have to bring 2 up from at least one, if not two, you're going to have to bring up from practice squad to.
Well, they'll play Jannard Avery a lot because he was like a rotational guy.
Yeah,
and he's a really good pass rusher. So they'll have to play him probably. I mean, if they do move Collins, I don't quote me on this because I'm terrible at knowing the exact positions, but I'm pretty sure Avery is an outside linebacker. Mm-hmm. So if they're moving Collins over to starting middle linebacker, then I would assume they're going to give the outside starting spot to Jannard Avery. So, I mean, it could work. I mean, at least those guys are good.
Yeah.
So you're not doing what you have to do at receiver.
Yeah.
But, I mean, and speaking of receiver,
yeah.
I mean, we started touching on it and then kind of got off track. But, besides Odell Beckham Jr., they're talking about Amari Cooper.
Yeah, who you don't want at all.
Dude, that guy, screw you, Amari Cooper. I've drafted you 3 years in a row, and you're dead to me.
Oh, stop it. If he's on the Browns and made a touchdown catch, he'll be your favorite play. You'll be buying an Amari jersey.
I did hear something interesting today about his production because he went over 1,000 yards his rookie season. Then his second season, he had I think 1,200 yards. Mm-hmm. And then last year was down, and this year is down. But it was interesting, his stat line, because he's had 3 crap games and 2 really good games.
Mm-hmm.
And the crap games, he was only targeted one of them he was targeted once.
Right.
And the others he was targeted 3 times, 4 times. In his really good games, he was targeted 12 times, 10 times. So if you throw it, apparently it's this pattern with him. If you give him double-digit targets, he goes over 100 yards and a touchdown. So, I mean,
I'd love to have him. Because
who else are you going to get that's any better? I wouldn't mind it. But the price has to be right, though.
Yeah, the price has to be right. But, I mean, I would like to have him because he's a legit one. He's not a number 2 or a 3 that's going to be lining up in the 1 like Landry. Landry, I think that's a big part of the problem is that you're lining Landry up as a 1 and he's a 3. He's a slot receiver. He's a slot receiver playing on the outside. That's what he's doing. And it's obviously not working. He needs to be cutting across the middle for 15 yards a play, not going down the field for 30. He's just not valuable in that role. I'd rather have Amari Cooper. How much better would we be if we had Amari Cooper on the outside and we moved Landry to the slot, and then you had Higgins or whoever on the other side?
Yeah,
that would be solid.
Yeah, I'm not sold on Amari Cooper, but I mean he's good. He knows what he's doing.
It would solidify the offense. It would solidify respect from the defense is what it would do.
Yeah,
the defenses would have to respect him instead of just being able to shut it down completely by putting your best corner on Landry. Now what are you going to do when you have a legit one out there?
Yeah,
you're gonna get what has made Landry good, for the 3-4 years, whatever it was in Miami, which was the best cornerback on the other team was out there on the edges, and Landry was cutting across. A lot of times he was getting coverage from a linebacker or a safety.
And that's why he was successful.
Yeah,
I mean, he wins a matchup against a linebacker for sure.
Yeah, and probably a safety too, because the safety's just trying to knock his head off instead of actually providing good coverage.
Yeah, true.
Safeties, and I don't know if you've ever thought about it or paid attention to it, but safeties don't look to stop passes. Safeties look to inflict pain once the pass has been caught. There's a difference. Yeah. Cornerbacks try to stop passes. Safeties always are trying to hurt the guy that dares come across the middle into their territory. And it's a different mindset. And I think that for a guy like Landry that does have fairly sticky hands, to have him cutting across the middle from the slot against a below average cover guy is going to do nothing but serve him well. So
I would agree.
So we need to get a 1 to open that up. Right now you put your best cover guy on a guy that's a slot receiver. Dude, think about this. And I know you don't watch a ton of games other than the Browns, but before, and this is old too, so you might not remember this, but do you remember the Lions before Calvin Johnson got there?
Oh my God, where they drafted like a receiver in the first round every year for like 18 years in a row.
And all of them were small guys, and they all ended up being slot receivers to where they could never throw the ball because they never had a true number one. And all of a sudden, they went from being a 3-13, 4-12, 2-14 team, whatever, to a 9-10 win sort of playoff team with the addition of that one guy, Calvin Johnson, because you had Stafford that was an above average quarterback, but all of a sudden his offense opened up. Then his running backs were running for 1,000 yards, and Johnson was so damn good that he caught everything that was thrown at him. But it also opened up. I mean, dude, if it wasn't for Calvin Johnson, do you think you would have ever remembered Brent Perryman and, names like that caught like 80, 90 passes in a year because of the one guy that opened up the passing game for him? We don't have certainly that guy yet. We're missing that guy.
Yeah. And even if Amari Cooper isn't that guy, at least he's something like close to that.
Yeah. If we got away with trading Josh Gordon for Amari Cooper, which is, it's obviously not the exact trade, but if that's the trade up that we do, that's a trade up to me. Our Amari Cooper's never been in trouble.
No.
And he's always been a competent receiver. Maybe he's not the fantasy football receiver, but he's a competent receiver. I would take him in a heartbeat.
I would. And again, it's a price thing for me. Like I if they want first round picks, I'm like, no. I mean, you got Jarvis Landry for a third and something else. And, I
can't imagine that he would command first round talent though. He hasn't been good in a couple of years.
No, I mean, he's only in his fourth year, I think.
Yeah, but still.
And two of the previous three have been good. And he was a first round pick. So I mean, if the price is a second, let's say they just say, okay, a second round pick, which I'm sure probably won't be enough. Yeah. But let's say that's the price. I do that all day long.
Dude, how bad must Des Bryant be that he's not getting the call?
People don't want him because he's doing all that stupid Instagram stuff. Like Gordon, like, look at all my working out. I'm a beast. He's just being a tool, and everyone knows he's a locker room cancer. And again, a guy with problems holding on to the damn football.
Right.
I mean, he led the NFL in drops last year, and he's a pain in the ass to deal with. I mean, who wants to put up with that?
Well, I don't. I'm not saying that we should run out and get him. I'm just surprised that, we're signing some cast off from Baltimore and not even a query about Dez. It's
they offered him a contract. He turned it down. So
yeah, originally, but now that the season's going, you'd think that he'd be a little bit hungrier at this point.
He's got his money. He don't give a damn.
Yeah, maybe
I don't care what he says.
Yeah, maybe he held on to his money and didn't waste it. I don't know. I don't know. I just am surprised that he doesn't have a job. And I, cancer or not, unfortunately the NFL seems to love cancer. The NFL seems like a league that if you have cancer, they'll buy you cigarettes. That's right. That's kind of how they tend to work their league. But it's surprising that guy who has been productive. Now I know he's led the league in drops, but he also catches a lot of touchdowns. It's surprising that guy does not have a gig. That really says something about what people think of his character. Whew.
Yeah. I mean, it's, he played his entire career for one team, and they know him better than anybody and said, and they have a receiver problem. Their receivers are crap, and they still let him go, and they won't take him back. It's like, well, that's all you need to know right there.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. I wish there was somebody that we could take a flyer on, but there's really just not anybody out there right now.
No, I mean, Amari Cooper really is the best option. I mean, if you can get Odell Beckham, that's fine, but the price tag's just going to be too high.
Yeah.
If Khalil Mack goes for 2 first-round picks, I wouldn't be surprised if that's the Giants' asking price for Odell Beckham Jr.
I don't even want Odell Beckham Jr. I look at him as a major cancer.
I do too.
The same way as I look at Antonio Brown. I wouldn't want Antonio Brown for a 7th-round pick just because he would wreck the chemistry. He's a wrecking ball I don't want.
I mean, the only positive to Odell Beckham outside, I mean, he's super productive. So I'm not saying, but outside of him, I mean, he is super productive. But maybe pairing him up with Juice again, because they played together in college and like best friends. Like maybe they'd both be competitive and trying to, like get the better of each other and just try, I mean, so that could be a positive. But yeah, I'm completely with you. I'm just not, especially with our team as young as it is. And, I heard a good point today that, Baker is a young quarterback. Like it's at this point, draft somebody that Baker can grow with. You know what I mean? Like, like Dalton and Andy Green. Like as much as I think Dalton's overrated, I mean, he does have, a really good chemistry with AJ Green, who's constantly productive.
Right.
Do something like that. And I agree with that.
Yeah. It's not, it's not a bad plan. And as much as you don't want to hear this, I'll say it anyway. We kind of have to live with the fact that we're going to lose a lot of games still.
Yeah.
We're just not past that yet. We're not past that quite yet.
I think I'm not mad that we lost, because I know that this season, like if we were to, let's say, make the playoffs, it would be a miracle. Sure. We'd be so far ahead of schedule. I mean, next year I have expectations. I'm not even going to lie. Next year, I mean, that has to be a goal, at least a wild card berth, But this year, I'm glad that they're competitive. And if I even see one of those graphics on the screen, like we saw, back when Hoyer was here, like in the hunt, when they started out 6-3 with him and whatnot. I mean, that'd be a pipe dream. I mean, oh my God, this is fantastic. But I mean, honestly, I don't have those expectations. And the reason I'm so pissed about yesterday is that, as you said, it was like a time machine game. They weren't even competitive. And at least in the games previous, we were competitive. Even though the Raider game sucked, we still put up 42 points, and it went to overtime. The Saints game was a heartbreaker, but we were winning for all but like 2 minutes of the game. Mm-hmm. This was just an ass kicking, and I hate when teams buy into their own hype and they give up and they play like pussies. I hate that.
Sure.
And everything that I hate that a team can do, they did yesterday, and that's why I'm pissed. Not because I'm like, oh, I thought we could go to the playoffs. It's just more of that juvenile, stupid bullcrap that we dealt with last year.
Mm-hmm. I was watching it yesterday, and the thought came across my mind that there's a somewhat realistic thought, and I don't think it's going to happen, but it could. And if it did, it would not be shocking that we don't win another game this year.
I don't think that's.
I don't think it's going to. What I'm saying is the team is so young, and if they're not winning games by the halfway point, and we're almost there, that's when a lot of teams, especially young teams, kind of quit. And the stigma of the last 2 years, and young players, that's when that could really set in. And then you just go on those long losing streaks that you don't snap out of. And seeing shit like Juice not being willing to talk to the media this early in the season, and I mean, maybe Hard Knocks overdid it with us, but he's allegedly him and Baker are the leaders of the team. And there's your leader of your team, not being a leader, being a douche. And would it shock you any if a lot of players followed that lead? Wouldn't shock me. Yeah.
I mean, and honestly, I think you're more at risk of a team quitting with a more veteran laden team, because at least with the young players, they haven't been through it to know when it's potentially hopeless. I think that's why the last couple of years you get all these rookies and you have the youngest roster in the league and they're just like, oh, rah, rah, rah. But now that they've had such an influx of veteran talent, the veterans know that if, let's say, they lose like 4 in a row now and you go to 2-7-1, mm-hmm. they know what the odds of making the playoffs are with that record.
Right.
So that's when they start packing it in, because they already know. Whereas young guys haven't been through that yet. Yeah. So I kind of would think it's more dangerous with the veterans than it is with the young guys.
Okay, but who threw the temper tantrum yesterday?
Well, but that's exactly why I'm saying that.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Damian Ratley's like a undrafted, or he's a 6th round draft pick, and he's fighting for a roster spot. So even if the Browns were, 1-13, that guy's laying it all on the line because he wants to get his.
Yeah. No,
Jarvis Landry has his. He's like, why am I gonna blow myself up for this? I mean, look at Le'Veon Bell. He's like, I'm gonna get paid next year. Why am I gonna go out there and beat the hell out of my body and risk a major injury when I'm sitting on a $80 million contract or whatever it is I'm trying to get? I mean,
yeah,
that's the thing.
I'm so not going to lie. I hope he plays one play against us and breaks his ankle.
That'd be funny.
I really do. And I hate to be that guy. I hate to be the guy wishing an injury on anybody. But that guy with his, I'm going to do the bare minimum just so I can get paid. I just want him to tear his MCL and ACL in both knees on one play and just be done for his career.
Pull a Gary Baxter.
Yeah.
Remember that guy, our cornerback that we signed from Baltimore? He went up in the end zone to defend a pass and came down and blew out both knees at once.
That's what I hope for Le'Veon Bell. Just whatever injury it would take to not get paid. Because I hate that attitude of I'm so righteous that I should be granted this money. Fuck you.
Yeah. I mean, I could not agree more.
Yeah.
I can't stand that, and that's why, again, and this will be my final thought, but that's why I can't stand what happened yesterday. It's just it's unacceptable. I mean, even if you were 5-0, you don't walk into a game like that.
Right.
You walk into every game ready to take the other team's head off, no matter how good you are or how bad you think they are.
Yeah.
It's the whole any given Sunday thing is accurate, and that's why good teams are always good. I mean, look at the Patriots. They don't overlook anybody.
No.
And they're a dynasty. They might be the greatest dynasty in NFL history.
Yeah, because they're consistently a 10 to 13, 14 win team every year.
They've won double-digit games every season for since Tom Brady started. And what was it, 2001 or whatever the hell it is?
It's been a long time.
Yeah, I mean, and that's why. Because you just don't dog it.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, yesterday just showed. I mean, and we knew this, but it was like you didn't have the tangible proof because they were so competitive with these teams. But yesterday was the tangible proof that this team of the true distance this team has to travel to really get to upper echelon status.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So all right. So what are you thinking for this week's game against the Tampa Bay Succaneers? Because they do suck.
God,
I hate using those things.
I have no idea now. I mean, if you'd asked me last week, I would have said it's going to be a glorious Browns win. Now, they do suck. And I would hope that the Browns are going to get their asses kicked all week to where they're going to go into that game and play hard. It's in Tampa, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to say 21-17. Who do I say wins? I don't even know. I'm going to go 21-17 Tampa.
I think the Browns are going to have I'm going to make a homer call for the first time.
All right.
I think the Browns are going to have a comeback game. I think as bad as this week was, I think they're going to come back and actually show some resilience. Because as I've said before, Baker brought him back in every game so far. And if his ankle is at least mostly right and he's not lying that no, it's fine, I think the Browns can win by at least 2 scores. Like I think the Browns can drop more than 30, and then the defense will hold the Buccaneers to under 20.
I hope you're right. Believe me, I don't want to be right. I just don't. Coming off of that game yesterday, I don't have any sort of vibe toward win. I feel like we fell all the way back, and now it's like a total, almost like a rebuild again. Like we got to prove something again at every position.
And I'm going homer, and I'm saying that I think that their progress is real, and I'm going to put my faith in the fact that they're not just a bunch of punks, and they are going to learn their lessons from yesterday and come out and lay an ass whooping on the Buccaneers.
Hey, I hope you're right. I hope it's 42-3 Browns, but with nobody to throw the ball to and no Joe Schobert,
Well,
And
like I
Tampa
say,
and Tampa started the year putting up lots and lots of points.
yeah, that stopped. So you can.
Yeah,
just,
I know
you can
that
just end
stopped.
right now.
I know that stopped.
And the
but
guy that did that isn't playing quarterback anymore. So.
yeah, but Jameis isn't horrible. He's not the greatest, but he's not horrible either. I don't know.
He's not that good.
I don't know. Whatever. He's good at crime.
Right. All right. Well, I guess there we have it. We'll see what happens this week. I think we're going to learn a lot about the Browns, and if they come out and suck again, there's going to be trouble in paradise. I'll tell you that. But
if they come out and suck again, will you get with me on the Let's Fire Hugh bandwagon?
Well, I don't see how you can't start.
No,
jumping
that's not an answer. Will you get on that bandwagon?
No. But only because I want to see like a full body of work, because we've seen this stuff before where coaches have been on the hot seat with other teams and they're 2-5 and then they rip off, they win the rest of their games and go on a playoff run. It's like, okay, well, now that guy's safe. That stuff happens in the NFL. So since I don't know what's going to happen the rest of the season, I don't like knee-jerk reactions.
Will you jump on the bandwagon with me if it also means that Amos Jones is fired?
Why you got to make this a difficult question? That dude just needs to go.
He's
awful. First quarter, 3 special teams penalties.
Yeah, he stinks.
And I mean Jabril Peppers actually had some good returns yesterday.
He did,
and they were brought back. A couple of them because of those dummies on special teams. I mean, that guy I'm like, what are they doing? Let that guy go. Just elevate. The special teams can't be any worse. We have the worst in the league. Just give Josh Cribbs the job and see if he can coach as well as he return kicks.
Yeah, and if he can't,
why not?
He can't.
What do you got to lose?
He can't do any worse than what we're doing. That's for sure.
No. Yeah. I mean, why not give it a try? The guy's one of the best special teams players in the history of the league. Who knows? Maybe he can coach.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see.
Yep. All right. Well, let's get out of here.
Right.
Clean up your act, Browns. You're pissing me off. So I'm John Drake. He's Chris Aiken. Until next time, go Brownies. Here we go, Brownies. Here we go.
Thanks for listening to the Dog Pound Podcast. Be part of the next edition by sending your thoughts to Woof, that's WOOF, at dogpoundpodcast.com, or by calling us at 216-503-6404. See you next time, and go Browns!
Killer.